Welcome to the Chronicle Reports. I'm your host, Chronicle. Today, we'll be diving deep into a story that sits at the intersection of centuries-old tradition and modern economic reality. Imagine a politician who is the ultimate Rorschach test. To the international community, Emmanuel Macron is the quintessential progressive, a leader who charms global elites and financial markets. But inside France, the image fractures. Before the pandemic even surfaced, the streets of Paris were already alight with the fires of general strikes. The cause? Pension reform? France and Spain are facing a demographic cliff, a pay-as-you-go system where current workers fund the retirees. But as birth rates fall and life expectancy rises, the math no longer adds up. Today, we analyze why France's attempt to modernize its welfare state is not just a policy debate, but a battle for the very soul of French identity. Let's look at the facts. The French pension system is arguably the most generous in the world. On average, a French retiree receives 61% of their final salary, compared to just 38% in Germany and an OECD average of 49%. Furthermore, the retirement age in France is set at 62, while neighbors like Spain and Germany have moved toward 67. The core argument for reform is fiscal sustainability. The system's deficit was projected to reach a staggering 12 billion euros. However, the argument against reform is rooted in a cultural contract that the French people believe is non-negotiable. Why is the friction so intense? Because in France, a pension is not viewed as a benefit provided by the state, but as a hard-won right of the citizen. Every time a politician attempts to touch these numbers, from Jacques Chirac in 1995 to Sarkozy and Hollande, the streets respond with mythical levels of mobilization. To understand the modern French psyche, we must go back 400 years. We often think of the French Revolution as a total break from the past, but the DNA of privilege survived the guillotine. Explore this historical fact. In 1698, King Louis XIV, the Sun King, the dancers of the Paris Opera, a special retirement regime. Why? Because dance is a physically demanding art, yet in the 21st century, these dancers can still retire at age 42. This isn't an isolated quirk. There are 42 different special pension schemes in France. Railway workers at the SNCF, under a scheme dating back to the era of coal-shoveling steam engines, can retire as early as 50 or 52 with two-thirds of their salary. The term privilege in France has a dual meaning. While the revolution was fought under the banner of liberté, Eagle-ite fraternite, the country remains one of the most elitist in the Western world. The leaders who manage these reforms almost exclusively graduate from the École Nationale d'Administration, an institution where only 1% of students come from modest backgrounds. This creates a permanent revolution. You have a class of Republicans who deep down want to be emperors, managing a working class that clings to historical privileges as their only defense against the elite. Emmanuel Macron's approach was ambitious. He didn't just want to raise the age. He wanted to end the 42 special schemes and replace them with a universal point system. Under this plan, every hour worked earns points that are worth the same whether you are a dancer, a mechanic, or a civil servant. It is the ultimate expression of Eagle-ite. However, the reaction was fierce. To the left, Macron is an evil capitalist, attacking labor rights. To the right, he is a pro-greenie, erasing national identity. Faced with massive protests and 41,000 amendments in the Senate, Macron began to soften his stance. He made concessions for those over 45 and delayed the changes for younger dancers and railway workers. As we wrap up this report, we must ask, can a modern democracy survive if it cannot balance its books? Macron's popularity actually rose to 40% during the pandemic, the highest for a French president in 20 years, yet he remains neck and neck with populist rivals in the polls. The battle over pensions is a mirror reflecting the global struggle between economic reality and social heritage. France is a land where the ghost of Louis XIV still dances in the halls of the Paris Opera, and where the spirit of 1789 still burns in the streets. What do you think? Is Macron's universal system the only way forward? Or are these historical protections a vital part of what makes France? Let us know in the comments below. Stay informed, stay curious. I am Chronicle, and this has been the Chronicle Reports. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more in-depth historical and contemporary analysis. See you in the next report.